There we go. I think we're up and live. Let me get my shit plugged in here. Excuse my French. Always seem to cost in the first 5 seconds of every live stream. Sorry, TikTok. Watching a gold short. We are watching a Bitcoin live. Let me just do the little old announcement here that we are live. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? We are watching gold short, Bitcoin long. We'll see if gold can continue to break some structures to the downside here. We've got 15-minute inversion potentially filling here. And then I'll continue down. I don't know how low we're going to come here, but we'll play it by ear. Maybe it pops up and locks us out. Bitcoin going sideways now as well. I was hoping we'd break up above this curve. Oh, it's two different charts. That's interesting. Binance perps. Let's just link these. Can we get a link? Do we gotta click global? New drawings will sync globally. New drawings will sync in layout. Well, we didn't get it, but let's unclick this stuff real quick so we don't mess it up. There we go. But on this side, we were watching Bitcoin long after sweeping the weekly this morning. 5-minute low is holding. We have some remaining on our long position from the bottom here off the weekly sweep. And what's up? What's up? What's up? We got about $800 locked in. Yeah. Why do I think that's a bot? You a bot, Nastrom? Nostrum? I think I see you come in and say that for every live stream. Nope. ARRNF. American Rare Earths. Well, commodities are pumping like a motherfucker, so that's going to get me muted on TikTok. 53% on the weekly, but holy cow, look at that sweep to the upside. Yeah, this is too volatile for a leverage play. I'm not looking for that. Well, we did come down and take all that liquidity from the bottom before it ran back. Make sure my head's not covering this. Just clean sweep of the low here. Just barely. Wait, did it sweep it? It did by like a penny. My worry is the pattern is this, my friend. Blow off top, head and shoulders, correction to the downside. But we will know in the next couple of days, that's for sure. We have to break above excess supply in the market here. So I'd be looking for a break of 33.5 cents for that continuation. And I will entertain it if it does that. Let's see if the retracement is healthy. Nope, didn't hold anything nice there. Maybe we get some kind of complex. Something like that there. It's not going to go negative, that's for sure. This is OTC, so this makes it a little bit more dangerous as well. If you guys got a chart, certainly let me know. I am following a couple plays we're already involved in, namely a Bitcoin long, a gold short. We're taking a look at a bunch of different things. What's up over there on YouTube? I see a couple of you guys starting to roll in as well. Man, I don't feel like these UTC or OTC things ever really play out for me, unfortunately. Bitcoin looks like it wants to roll over again back into this stupid trend. A little bit of a break on it. Maybe not. Let me get ourselves opened up on here on TikTok so I can hire myself. Interesting. Yes, sir. Videos. Users. There we go. We found it. I joined. Look at that. We are looking for an excuse to hold the long on Bitcoin, and if we don't, we are out of the rest of the play here. But about up 800 bucks. We can take kind of a look and see what altcoins are doing, because that's really going to tell if we're going to sink or swim here. And filter value and dumped. Ondo not looking healthy either, man. This stuff is getting pretty crazy. Morpheus holding. But for how much longer is the question? Sol pushed up over the top. How much longer do we hold? We took a hype play, and it's finally breaking out. What is this, the 5 minute? Let's take a look at the 15 here. Let's take a look at the 4 hour. Let's look at the daily. So hyper taking liquidity from the bottom of the daily range here into demand and getting that bounce. Our chart showing a little bit of hope here. I think we can get a stop loss in now. We are actually long hype. We want to fill inversions here somewhere. Let's take a peek at where we want that to come. Let's hit this fair value gap maybe. Hour's about to go hard potentially here. I lost all you guys. See if I can find you. There you are. Say hi if you're here. Mr. Bill Lucas George. User 2907-540-23646. What's up, guys? The other things we were taking a peek at just to make sure on the crypto end. We're looking at USDT. See if we can continue to the downside here on these larger time frames. Getting a nice rejection. USDT flowing back out into the market, which is nice. Bearish divergence. Higher high, lower high. And I believe Dom probably got a pop today. It did. Look at this. The only cup and handle that's worked out here. Bitcoin dominance. Running to the upside. Let me just share this over in Discord quick. What's up, brother? What's up, Joseph? Hopefully it stalls out here a little higher, because we're chasing inversions everywhere these days. This is kind of where we wanted to fill on the 4 hour chart. We're there. What will happen next? Let's check in on gold here quick. Eesh. Oh, that was 4 hour. All right. So now the danger for gold here is what? It's not the right chart. Boom, here we go. So now we've come back up into liquidity and we have rejected one more time. We're looking for the shift of structure down here on gold. If you're not short on gold, that was a good opportunity on a back test with a clean stop. We can move our stop loss down. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Well, that's what I wanted. Go ahead and adjust that. Okay. Had to peek over at another monitor. Man, crude is running. Whew. So what did it do to New York? So ran the low and took off. Damn. 2% on crude. That's crazy. Let's take a look at ES pushing all-time highs here. Are we just now getting this SFP? Let's just take a look. Where's daily high? We're above daily high. See if we SFP it. Man, that uptrend. Boom, 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 boom. All-time highs. See if we start coming sideways in the power hour here. A little tight liquidity curve. So uptrend is intact here. So here's our break. Here's our high. Never revisited the low. Rebroke. So here's the low we got to technically break until we get some kind of cleaner shift. At least on the 5. So one down, one down, one down. Okay. So we're watching with some alarms here. NQ probably looking the same way. Big fair value gap to the downside here. We SFP'd the low. Breakout. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Here's the pullback. Rebreak. Pullback. Rebreak. Pullback. Rebreak. So we had one shift there. So we got a couple plays set up here. Did we break all-time high on? Nope. We got some ways to go. These might come in handy for the Asia Open tonight. We'll see what happens into those. I am in the plays I want to be in. So we're hoping gold breaks down below here so Asia can drive us a little lower. And we're watching Bitcoin to the upside. Right. So here's our long. Actually, this is supposed to go all the way up to like 94. I'll zoom it out and show you. $94.7. But we got to get up and over before 6 o'clock. Otherwise, it's not going to go. We'll take a peek at US 30 here for you. Just 1 second. Uptrend, baby, uptrend. Breaking daily. Oh, not yet. So, I mean, every level I'm trying to, I grab SFPs, SFP player, market structure shift player. I'm looking for sweeps for the daily highs. You know, we're there now. It's not much further above us. Maybe we already took it. I mean, you're in the range where you want to be short or considering a short. We're coming back in to either let the shorts back out of here so they can close and we use that to fuel higher and up and above, or just take a look and see how big this channel is here quick. 0.16%. So, I mean, it's pretty easy. So on the 5-minute chart, we're just looking for a shift. So 5-minute low is established. 5-minute high is established. Give me a reason to shift. Give me up, give me 2 down, give me a fakie to the upside, and then give me a shift. We can take a short. Otherwise, we're just waiting. And if we tap this high and it closes right back in with a nice reaction, that could be your SFP. But all these guys pushing all-time highs, these are key levels. If these break, it goes hard, but they don't often break. And even to the top of the range here is only 0.1% from the 7th candle. But you got to be patient for the signal. So clean 4-hour low, or clean 15-minute low, clean 5-minute low. It is 2:30, so in 30 minutes, if I take an entry on here, everything would close automatically. Unfortunately. What's up, Dale? I mean, that's the thing, right? So if it comes back up into these larger key levels, I mean, what's been happening, right? We reach up, rejection, reach up, rejection, reach up. Odds are if we did it once, we did it twice, we did it 3 times, you know, we probably have some sort of pullback. And I don't think that's really a difficult conversation to understand, but, you know, it doesn't mean it just dumps from here. It's not a difficult concept, right? We just build in liquidity. So on a 4-hour chart on US 30, we just take a look and see what the consensus is here. So 4-hour low, 4-hour higher low, 4-hour higher low, and then we got a bunch of equal highs here. So we're building in this, you know, ascending triangle to the upside. And this is usually what happens, right? If you can catch, you know, the short here and catch the one that finally breaks trend, you get a nice, good old play to the downside. Now, that doesn't mean every single one of these is going to do that, but this is the area, you know, it's the adage of trading. It's the, if I enter, I don't have my other stuff up, but if I enter here through, on my prop, it'll just close at 330. Everything closes up at 330. But if we get a good play for a scalp, I'll show you. I'll take it. But we're not pushing our luck hard today, but here's our Bitcoin play. Let's just get a good old snip off the exchange here. Oop. All right, so I mean, we trade live, New York, every single day. I'm up $900 on Bitcoin. I'm gonna go ahead and copy this and just throw it on the brag wall as well. Let me see if I can get you guys over here. Trade recaps. And things are moving slow here. So New York crew is wrapped up. There's only a couple people left chilling in the channel. We've tried to up our free offerings over here in Discord too, if you want to check that out. The link is in the description for you. Or if you just go over to the bio on TikTok, over to the link tree. Or check us out on tacticaledgetraders.com if you want a free course. I mean, it's a killer course, man. Ben did a great job on that. You know, we trade where the volume's at, man. That's gonna be at New York Open, right? Here's the SFP above that daily range. Let's check oscillators quick. See if we can grab a scalp. Did it go? Let me make sure my API, there it goes. We'll risk $100 on it. Just a 2-to-1. Bitcoin here getting real tight. Point like a tiger. I lost you guys again. So we teach you how to trade, brother. We don't give it to you spoon fed. We want you guys to be successful traders. You know, I'm a full-time trader, full-time every day. New York Live every single day, 5 days a week. If the market is open, I am there. I trade a lot of Bitcoin. I trade a lot of gold. I trade a lot of NQ and ES and a little bit of NAS 100. I mean, you can call it SMC, but it's kind of our own system. We don't overcomplicate things with big verbiage. You know, trading's kind of been figured out for years, man. It's already been written in the books. Those guys like ICT and things like that, all they do is just confuse the verbiage to sound cool. But I implore you, man, if you don't want to hop in and just enjoy the free section for a little bit, take a look at the free courses online. I mean, tacticaledgetrading.com, traders.com, excuse me. Our Discord link and our actual other link is a little different. Let me see if I can square this up for you guys. There we go. So just enter the portal, create an account, and then you just go over and check out the videos, man. And then the link to Discord and everything's here for you. Our live stream schedule. This is our podcast. We have live mentorship for New York session. You get private sessions on the daily, twice a week. You're going to have to define rich, brother. Got a beautiful wife and a beautiful family, and I can afford for her not to work and me to be a full-time trader. I'm rich as fuck. 4 kids, baby. 4 boys. But if you head over, I just click the training grounds tab here. Lots and lots of courses here for you. Just straight down the list. If you're a beginner, there's stuff there for you. If you want to know how we trade SFP, swing failure patterns, chickens drinking water, CDWs, whatever you want to call them, that is there for you as well. Bitcoin looks like it's going to push. US 30 coming down. You know, we take key weekly levels, key daily levels, key liquidity sweeps. We are looking for those areas to get out and get in. Hopefully this pops here. We can ride this a little higher. Now let's check in on our gold play. Gold coming down beautifully. We are in a gold short as well, but it's still, I mean, it's not break even, but it's just slightly in profit. And a 10x play, not a 25x play. This further break to the gold, to the downside here, this is what we want to see. This break of structure right here, giving us the expectational order flow that this is going to continue to the downside, right? And what are we seeing on the oscillators as this happens? You know, 24-minute chart, 15-minute chart, whatever you like to see. So price is moving to the downside, or excuse me, price is moving to the upside for a back test while the oscillator continues to the downside. That is a leading indicator called hidden bearish divergence. It is the only leading indicator in the market. I don't care what anybody else tells you. Fight me. Hidden bullish, hidden bearish is the only leading indicator. That's just a simple stock. This song is kind of slow. What's up, Mark? Thanks for the follow, brother. My view in gold is I'm shorting all-time high. What's up, brother? Favorite time frame? I take most of my trades based on the 5 minute, right? But don't let me confuse the context there. So if we just take a look at like Bitcoin today, you know, in our pre-market prep, we had a weekly low. You know, the weekly low, or excuse me, the daily low labeled out on our chart here, right? So this was the daily low. Wink, right here. So what did New York session do today? You know, I have my levels mapped out on the higher time frames to begin with. And then I take my entry once we come into those key levels. Once we come into those key levels. So here you go. Here's that daily low that we put in. We came back, swept all the liquidity from this entire range, right? So everything that happened from here to here to here, everybody's stomped out at that daily level. And now what we do from here is we look at order flow. So this is a crypto specific thing here, but we go ahead and we zoom in. We take a peek at the 1 minute. We go ahead and take a look at the absorption. So this is a footprint chart. Right? So if you're coming into a key level of support, what is the very last thing you want to do? Well, the very last thing you want to do, CKB is still a great project, brother. I mean, just altcoins in general took a major shit. But what you want to, the last thing you want to do is short the bottom. So what you see here is all these people just FOMOing in short, right? Everyone right here FOMOing short into a key level. And then you see immediate buyback, right? And if we look at the right chart here. So what we're doing is trapping traders to the downside. Trap, 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 trap. All these Bitcoins are now trapped down here. So we have a negative delta of 123,000 Bitcoin down there, and they're all trapped. So that gives us fuel. When people pile on long from a key bounce level, every FOMO guy down here is trapped. And that's how we take our place. Every single time. We're looking for offsides players. And what I mean by that is if you're doing the exact opposite of what you're supposed to be doing when you're trading. Right? So what is the mantra of trading? Buy low, sell high, right? Why would you sell at the bottom? Why would you short the bottom? That's how everybody gets trapped. If you are doing that repeatedly, if you are selling the bottom for a short, anticipating that it's just going to break at a key daily, 4-hour, weekly level, you're doing it wrong. That's how you get caught off sides. And every one of these offside traders pays me. All right? And as we work our way up here. So usually looking for one key level to hit every day. We found one today on gold. We found one today on Bitcoin. And we found one today on hyper liquidity. We took the daily range. Let's see if I can get this zoomed into the right area. This chart's not sized for TikTok. So here, look. Another offsides play. If you short the break of all this liquidity here, thinking it's just going to pummel to the downside, you're doing it wrong. What's going to happen once we get in here? Like, what happens once we come back into this wick, into this wick, into this wick, into this wick, into this wick? We come down here, we take all your stop losses, and then we run it back on you, right? Now, that doesn't mean that's the play that runs us up and just breaks us higher. We just take our 3-to-1 and we go home, baby. That's it. We're not greedy traders. We're just traders. We got 20 minutes before we got to close that US 30 trade. Sure. On Bitcoin, I mean, it's all about structure, right? So if you're looking for confirmation, it's about market structure shifts. So we'll play it with just a little dot, which is the easiest way, right? So we have a downtrend with a high and a low. So what are the rules here? If we can't break the high, we break the low, right? So that's expectational order flow 101. So once we broke the low, if we broke structure on this high, you know, what you're entertaining is a back test at this point. So if you're not taking the SFP play, you're taking the structure shift. So if you're playing a 2-minute structure, here's the low, here's the high. I play 2 candle intent. That's it. 2 candles. 2 candles to the upside is intent for me, as long as it breaks some sort of high, right? Here's your shift to structure. We're looking for a back test into that shift to structure that satisfies the golden pocket. It did. And we're taking a long position right off the top of that, right? And we're holding the low. It's invalidated if it breaks this low. And then we're simply targeting 3-to-1. So that's how I would have took the play on the 2-minute. So here is your 2-minute shift to structure. Right here. Here's your back test into the liquidity that left, the imbalance in the chart. Also our golden pocket, immediate continuation shift to structure, immediate shift to structure, immediate shift to structure, immediate shift to structure, and it just walks uphill. In the 2 minutes, actually the first structure that rolled over and went sideways for this. And I can show you that here in just 1 second. Let me get rid of this shit. All right, so we're on 2 minute chart. Here's low, here's higher low, here's higher low, here's higher low. Looking for 2 candles down. Here's higher low, here's 2 candles down, here's higher low. Here is 2 candles down, here's higher low. And if you wanted the stop loss at that 2 minute shift, or take a TP at that 2 minute shift and grab the scalp reversion, we play VWAP for reversion all the time. I bet you it came right down in the VWAP and bounced. I don't know because I don't have it on. That's the wrong chart. Let me click this one. Let me turn. I grabbed the wrong chart. I apologize. Here's VWAP. Blue line is VWAP. Ooh, right down into VWAP and an immediate recovery, right? And still holding. But how did we know this potentially would hold to the upside to begin with? What was the clue, that this dump here would create a higher high? Let me turn VWAP off here. This thing is just so cumbersome. Well, the break of structure yesterday. We can get rid of some of these. This was our pre-market. Sunday nights I do a CME open it's absolutely free. If you're in Discord, the Sunday night 6 p.m. Eastern CME group live in Discord is free, but with me. But we do 4 other live courses a week for the paid section. But this 2-3 hour break structure here. So in the CME open, we pumped. And what were the rules we just talked about? What was the rules that we said? If you hold low, you target the high that created it, or vice versa, right? So if you shift structure to the upside, right? You had the break structure, order flow is moving this way. If you come back down, and even if you SFP this low, the target for expectational order flow is the high that put it in. That doesn't ever change. Right? It doesn't change until it's invalidated. And that's why you have stop losses. Your first job as a trader is to be a risk manager. So currently, since all of this here, let's just go to the daily. Again, we're just looking at Bitcoin, but low, higher low, higher low, higher low, and potentially we're putting in a higher low right now. This is Friday, weekend chop sideways. CME gap actually filled at CME open on Sunday. So there's nothing back to the downside as far as the CME gaps are concerned. And potentially we leave, a couple demand areas here. So excess demand here. And then we have a beautiful order block here on the daily, which would also be an excess demand zone. So there's a DOB, so that should change. There we go. And we're just accumulating sideways, right? So if we get this, again, it's a flat top, right? So it's bilateral at this time and it's ascending. So these are actually 50-50 patterns. They're not leaning one way or the other, but the breakout here would look a lot like this. Break up above liquidity, back test liquidity. Helps if I grab the right tool. Break up above this liquidity that's been set here. Break that excess supply zone. Back test the created demand zone. And then re-break it on the daily for continuation. Right? So the same thing to the downside. We have a large liquidity sweep here that we could have. But price action comes down, breaks the curve, starts getting into these stop losses. Probably hits that demand area, bounces, back tests, and then continues to the downside. Right? All in all, one of my most confident plays is an SFP in the weekly. We have not done that, right? If we zoom out on Bitcoin here, just some of these plays I had in mind. Let's find an empty chart. Let's go to the weekly. So weekly low has been put in here at, 80K, right? 80,500. But this has not come back and double tested this liquidity. And what I mean by that is if it comes back down, S&P's this, and it closes above, that could give us the fuel to come all the way back up to the weekly top of the range. But this happens quite often all the time, right? It's almost a 90% hit rate. Weekly puts in a low, weekly puts in a high, it SFPs, the weekly continues to the upside. Weekly puts in a high, weekly puts in a low, weekly SFPs, and continues to the downside. All right. Weekly puts in a high, it shifts structure on the weekly, it comes back up, it SFPs the weekly, and continues to the downside. That's 100% hit right now on weekly SFPs, up and down. You can say it here too. So here's your weekly low, put in, here's your SFP, and there's your high. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Every single weekly one is a hit. Here's another one. Here's your weekly low. Ooh, your SFP targets the high, and we got a breakout. So we had a nice runner there. So there's 6. Weekly sideways accumulation. There is no weekly low here. It's just sideways, at least based on my rules. But if you take the liquidity low on the daily or the 3-day or the 4-day, this confirms as an SFP and takes the high. So there's 7 out of 7. That one you had to cheat it with a smaller time frame. Let's take a look at the bottom of the market. Here's the weekly low. Here's the SFP. And here's the continuation. Bang, 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 bang. Here's one more. Bottom of Bitcoin. 15K. Here's the low. Here's the SFP. Into all-time highs. All right, you can't beat it. It's unbelievably powerful on the weekly chart. But those are the levels we play every day. Weekly, daily levels. Looking for a sweep, bounce, break, and then we're off to the races. So, my magic play right now is we fake everybody out. Like everyone's screaming on Bitcoin right now. Look at the head and shoulders pattern. Look at it. Look at it. Look at the head and shoulders pattern. It's coming down to 50K. And maybe it does, right? And I'll be there to take the short if that's what it calls for. But I would love to shut everybody up. It comes back down. Sky is falling. It sweeps the bottom here. It maybe taps this weekly MPOC and then fucking all-time highs. Like, maybe not all-time highs, but nice bounce. We have some weekly demand areas we really need to claw back here, and namely this area right here, right? I want to get into this imbalance in the weekly chart. I want to fill this. And they always get filled. Almost always. I mean, they always get filled, right? At some point. I mean, look at this imbalance right here. Whoop, filled. And then if you go into the daily, there's even a nice high one here, right? You got one more way up here. So we could really get everybody bullish. And everyone's like, it's 107K, it's 109K, it's going to the moon. And it's going hard, it's going to the moon, it's going to break the all-time highs. Everyone's screaming, pile in, they're telling their mom, their dad, their pops, their brother, everybody's in Bitcoin again. And then the rug's pulled all the way down to 50K, or all the way back down to the weekly low. And it's going to be a yummy, yummy short. It's going to be beautiful. A TRDR. KC. Are you in Discord? Or is that Caden? It looks like Caden's picture. Yeah, I took the long this morning, brother. That is definitely Caden. My bad, my bad, my bad. I'm, how old am I? 42? I've been trading for a little over a decade. Seriously, seriously 7 years. But, you know, we always had those fun E-Trade days. But if you want to know what funded my biggest account was the Doge Gamma Squeeze, the GameStop Gamma Squeeze, the AMC Gamma Squeeze. I made so much money in those squeezes, bro. I wasn't one of those idiots saying, keep buying more. Keep buying more. It's going to the moon. Next stop's the moon. It's 1,300% up. Keep buying, you stupid apes. I sold on all you guys and watched you all cry in Wall Street bets for the next 10 years. They're all idiots. They're not traders. I funded a Disney trip, new car, house down payment, and my first venture, like large scale ventures into crypto with that play. Plays plural. Even had a Bed Bath & Beyond one. What's up, Rich? Taylor Truth. Beep, beep, I'm a Jeep. Anybody got anything you want me to take a peek at? Let me know. Let's scroll back in chat here. I missed a bunch probably. Getting options on Oracle from multiple people. Want to see what you say. Let's take a peek at Oracle. Let me go over here because these are my stocks. Oh, look at that, guys. We got 8 minutes. This will close automatically. Our US 30 trade is in profit. We can pull this down here and not give any of this back. This is risk-free, my friends. This will just close itself up in 8 minutes. Oh, what is that pattern? We call that a Model 2 head and shoulders. Whoop. We gotta add ES into watch list here. And let's take a look at Oracle. Everything we teach in Discord is transferable to anything. I may or may not have insider information on Oracle. My brother works for them. That's Orca. Let's peep the week. Woo, that's quite the uptrend. I think they had partner news with somebody, right? NVIDIA, and that's what gave that blow off the top. So first things first, let's just check where we're landing here. Oh, look at that, the golden pocket. So we have some nice confluence here that we're getting support. Ooh, that was the wrong tool. This is the SR flip of the previous range. So what happened here? So if we just take a look at market structure. Low, high, shift down, recovered, broke, back test. So we're just trying to, what we call this is RIMC, R-I-M-C. So range initiation, mitigation, and potentially here, continuation. We just want to see one more strip. One more break structure to the upside. And currently that's going to be about $224. So that is our weekly chart. So here's weekly low. Let's go up into this weekly low. This week just opened. So 4 days on that. Let's just zoom in here to the daily. So daily is getting a market structure shift to the upside. This is an internal one, so it is not an external shift. So daily internal break structure. And we have a gap fill to the top of the range. We have the 50 to 100 coming down on us right here. So at this point in time, I would look for where this extends up to and then the back test of this. So now let's just say it goes right into bouncing off the 100. I'm looking for something like this. Back test into the fib and then the next break structure. So I'm assuming this may go one or two more up and then we get a break. So that's how the price action needs to form for me. And then we look at something like this. So entry on GP, hold previous low, and then we get a runner. Right now, this can be squished down into something that makes more sense based on the time frame we take the trade on. So 4 hours getting a break as well. This could be as simple as holding trend. So potentially we look for something like this. And maybe it lands a little higher into the 0.50. But again, I don't long tops. So we're already at the top of the range. And I look for liquidity. You know, where was liquidity based on our previous cycle here? So New York opened with a dump. If you were taking a New York long on this, here's your shift, brother. Right here. So you get a nice 5-minute shift. Long position holds the low. So let's see if we get that golden pocket test here. So here's your run. Here's your break. Here's your GP. Here's your range low. Target 3 to 1. Well, geez. I mean, 3 to 1's right here. And if you just let it run and you followed, let's see if 5-minute gave us the best solution here. Yeah, I mean, even if you just followed 5-minute market structure, this would have been about 8% on account for me. That's about where my Bitcoin long's sitting right now. So let's follow 5-minute lows. So 5-minute, 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 5-minute. And here's the first 5-minute shift right here. Boom, right there. So I would have been out right there. So what did we get on that? About 9% on account. Do you guys understand how to use like a position calculator? Sorry, I like totally fumbled on what I was even thinking there. So check this one out here. If you're looking, let's see here. Let me just close this. So Exynos. What's up, Parker? There we go. Oh, I'm not behind my VPN. Doesn't matter though. I'm not in the right monitor for this. Or excuse me. This is Brave. I gotta be over on Chrome. Bitcoin coming down. I think we just get out now. A little bit of bounce here. Oh, that's gold. Let's check gold quick. Too many things going on too many browsers, my guy. So gold looking good for the shift here to the downside. Head back over to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's holding. Take a look at our ES. Oh, it's getting a little bit of a bounce. We get stomped, it's no big deal. But it's got to put that shoulder in, right? We called for that shoulder. So head, shoulder. I mean, technically our shoulder can come all the way up here, but I'm not going to lose money on this. At 4:30 it closes for aftermarket. Excuse me. Oracle, we'll get back over here. Let's see what the upside targets look like here. Man, that gap. Was this the news? The gap on the news? That big NVIDIA partnership? Let's take a look at oscillators. Actually, weekly, that's 4 hour. Let's take a look at weekly is smoked. I mean, it's got room to go, right? So you can TA, you know, simple things like a stock. Does it get over this or does it just reject and go lower? I'm not in an Oracle play, right? I'm not looking for it right now. But this is why we plan. So if alarms start going off within our plan, I can take action. And, you know, when you have alarms set up for, you know, 10 or 15 different assets. So there's no, for me, there's no reason to short this right now because it's not coming up into anything, right? I short resistance. That would be my next short idea for Oracle. We wicked right into a daily MPOC for the long as well. Took liquidity there. But like on, let's just say Bitcoin, for example, like you gotta have like all your trading times on. Here's my London, here's my Asia, because these are the high volume areas. We come back and we claw back, you know, high volume areas. Breaking trend here. Small head and shoulder. Whoop, whoop. Here's shift of structure. Now the question is, does it find some sort of demand and then bounce? Trend is up. I lost YouTube here. Give me 1 second. There it is. What's up, Brian? Brian Obama. I love it. You're in Discord, right, brother? Oh. There, it closed. Well, we put a couple plays together today. So we have an Asia idea for NQ. We have an Asia idea for ES, which is already kind of executing here. Unfortunately. Hype is still holding here. I would love for this to just go. Oracle getting a breakout, which is beautiful. See some of our other plays here. And PayPal, I've been waiting so patiently for this weekly low to be taken on PayPal so I can get in something on this. And this may just be a spot play. This would be probably no leverage. I just want to sweep all this. PayPal, for some reason, is just struggling to get on its feet. I want to come down here and get below 55 and a half, 55, 56 bucks. I can't grab that. Come on. And this chart's already mocked up on my other one, but what you see forming here is potentially a bullish divergence. Let's see what the 8-hour looks. 4-hour doesn't look amazing still. We keep putting these highs in though. So right now, 4-hour high, about 60 bucks. I think it comes all the way down here to 55, 75, and then we get that run back up. Institutions just rolling out here. Now we're kind of holding though. Google pushing. I'm really interested as well. I know this looks like a very bad chart. This is Galactic or Virgin Galactic. Richard Branson. I mean, this chart's got a high of like $1,200, $1,250, and you know they're talking about IPO and SpaceX at a $1.5 trillion evaluation. And if that happens, you know, I think it's going to rise all the aerospace plays, even if it's just a sympathy pop for Virgin. You know, you have this fly play that's been just ripping as well. This is an aerospace play, right? It SFP'd the weekly low and it's up 80%. Same for Ondis. But this one's up huge, dude. Massive. Almost 2K%. fresh break of structure on the weekly. Let's go ahead and take a peek at WIF per request. I think I saw. Did I see WIF? Or did I see Wi-Fi? Yeah, I see WIF. Okay. That looks really thin. That looks better. Again, guys, if you're hanging out, hop in Discord. Tactical Edge Trading. Discord.gg/Tactical Edge Trading. The link is in the description of over here in TikTok. Description of the bio over on YouTube. WIF looks like shit, my friend. Oop. We have a fake out of the high here. So, what does Papa Dunk like? Well, I like SFPs. I like SFPs of weekly highs. That is an SFP of the weekly high. If this does not hold, the target is the low. So we are trading between the low and the high on the weekly. Whatever side that breaks is the direction we'll probably heading. Daily, nice straight up, leaving ourselves a fair value gap to the downside. Can we close up this fair value gap? So we got a little bit lower to go, about 34.77 on the fair value. We are looking at the daily chart, so nice pop up, nice little pullback. So it is not in line with the rest of the market. Can we get into this golden pocket? This is where I want to see us go, into this level here. So I would be entertaining a long potentially off this GP. TikTok is saying I'm inactive, but that is not true. Just hit the little captcha thing here. There we go. So we have GP labeled out. Let's see if we can get an anchored VWAP in there. Oh, look at that. Anchored VWAP lines right up with the GP as well. Let's do another one from the top. There we go. Let's get rid of that one. Let's grab a fixed range of volume profile here. Ooh, right in the POC here of the range. All right, so let's zoom in here a little bit more in the 4 hour. So 4 hour shifted structure to the upside once, 4 hour shifted to the upside structure 2, and 4 hour low is here. And obviously we have just broken structure to the downside here. One down. Let me just make sure I'm counting that right. Actually, that's tough. Technically, this is 4 hour structure low, according to how I trade, which we're kind of flirting with. This pattern looks a lot like Bitcoin did last night. Okay. So liquidity curve to the upside. I mean, these sharp pull-offs are really tough. So kind of like a horizontal channel forming here. Now I'm looking for this. If we can come down and tap into this 35-cent range, get a local hour shift to the upside, I think we're back off to the races. If we lose that, so I would long the shift, cover the low. Something like that there, right? Again, you can dial this in based on where you end up. As far as locally looks, we have shifted on the 15 to the upside, and we got to hold this low. So WIF, just moving sideways and down at the moment. But if you look at that, and then you look at Bitcoin from last night, I mean, look at this pattern. So just moving, it looks like this, right? So it had the pop, bang, 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 moving sideways. It doesn't really look like a head and shoulders pattern because it accumulated too long, and then bang, it just runs. So, I mean, WIF could have some more upside here, in my humble opinion. As a leverage trader, something that trades 1 or 2% on a 1-minute candle or a 5-minute candle, it's not something I'm trading, unfortunately. Thanks for the follow, Melissa. WIF, I'd look for about 35 cents before any kind of entertainment continuation to the upside, unless it just shifts hard in like the 4-hour again. SKYT, I'm not sure what that is. Skywater Technologies up in resistance. Again, I am not longing the top quite ever. We have taken the high. I am in short. We're looking for shorts up here, right? But you gotta wait for confirmation because these. So here's all-time high, right? $15-minute looks like it's. So we're getting bearish divergence at the all-time high. All right, what does that do? So volume is moving out. Price is moving up. 5-minute structure shift to the downside is 29.83. And again, I'm looking for it. Maybe it doesn't happen, right? But that's why we're patient. We developed a plan. We let the market tell us when we're coming in, right? So do we SFP this high again, come down, shift structure, come back in for an imbalance, and then continuation. So never changes, right? There's an easy 3-to-1. But we wait for the market to tell us when to take it. We're coming in the close here, so unless you got some after hours trading, I'd be looking for something like this into CME. But I'll set an alarm here. I don't know if I can even trade this or not. Short anyways. I'd have to look at the broker. Maybe we can figure out what this is, though. News. Quantum computing, Skywater Technology sells shares. CEO, Solomon files to sell. Looks like AI company. Whoa, what just happened here? What time frame am I on the 5? Bitcoin having troubles here. Hello, Mark. Ooh. That one had all the flavor. Things are just kind of slow today, unfortunately, except for Bitcoin. Not sure what happened to PAL, but that thing is tanking. Somebody did ask about ES, right? NQ. NQ play was drawn out. We are being patient. We're waiting for the 5-minute to be tested here. We now have a new 5-minute low. We now have an order block. But I'm waiting for something to happen in between the top and the bottom here. So we had a little bit of a break here and a back test and a break again. So can't hold the high, target the low. I play 5-minute shifts. There may have been something smaller here. 2-minute shift was there. Right here. So you could have played 2-minute. I'd have to check my journal and see if I've actually cheated on smaller time frames for NQ and ES. I know I do for gold sometimes. Ooh, look at our gold play. Gold in the money. Or 3-to-1 is actually like up here somewhere. Structure sweep. Gold playing out beautifully. But this is textbook, right? So same thing with NQ. Like if you pretend like this is that 5-minute low on NQ that we just looked at. Here's the 5-minute high on NQ, right? It breaks. We don't just hop in when it breaks. You look for the clawback of the imbalance in the chart. Now the difference here is the imbalance in the chart doesn't necessarily dictate the entry. You look for the shift off the imbalance. So imbalance continues to push up, actually comes right back up into our high liquidity area, and then has an immediate shift back to the downside below curve, right? So that was our, that's when we moved. You saw me do it, move the stop loss down. It wasn't much. Well, it was about half the play, right? Half the stop loss. So instead of a $100 loss, it's a $50 loss. And then continuation. So, you can call it back test or breakout back test. I call it RIMC. RIMC. So we knew right here, we had initiation to the downside, gave it the back test for the confirmation, held the play. I took it here, right? Up in this area here. And then continue down. It does not look like silver is pulling back though, is it? It is not. Silver is up 7% right now. Let me just check and see where I'm at on this. We're up $120. It's not a big play, unfortunately. On gold, huge gap down. I wasn't really paying attention to the gap on gold. Let me actually pull the futures chart. Oh yeah, right here. Man, if it comes all the way down here, I'm gonna be feeling pretty freaking good. Let me just see if I can see that on my chart, on my broker. So that's around 45.20. $45 TP. We'll front run it a little bit. About right there. That feels nice. Five minutes kind of smoked. 24-minute pointing down. Everything else is coming down. So we could get some sideways action here. I mean, like this is, again, I don't mean to sound like a robot here, but if you're trading and gold's oscillator on the daily 4 hours sitting at the top of the range, I'm not top blasting that. Where's it going to go? Again, here, top of the range. It went up a little higher and then dumped. Maybe comes up a little higher and then dumps. And look at this divergence here. So here's the high on the oscillator. Here's the low on the chart. Higher high, lower high. That is classic hidden bearish divergence. So here's the bad news for gold traders. Silver's the one that's coveted right now, right? Because it's going into memory and hard drives and batteries and shit right now. If gold comes back into this range, this could be the SFP and it just comes way down. I'm not really positioned for that yet, but we probably get a bounce off that CME fill, and then we look for a lower high and then continuation. Or, vice versa is we come down into gap fill and we shift back up, and then we're long all of a sudden. This song is so dumb. What is this song? Oh, Bitcoin just dumping. That's a shame. What's Hype doing? Pushing. Got about 10 minutes here. That's 100 up there in the 4 hour area. Let's look for 15-minute structure. New York Open just breaks structure and runs. 15-minute low. 15-minute shift of structure. Ooh. 15-minute high. And let's just look where the hour's at. There is no hour structure. There is no 30-minute structure. Let's see what we put in for demand. So I think right here, baby. We tap into this. And we're looking short. Let's get an alarm. Let's draw out our short idea. Cover range high. Now, these aren't just blind, right? So again, what is the pattern I'm always looking to trade? Well, it's institutional. It's we create an artificial high. We start coming down. We have people pile in short because they think it's finally turning around. We run the high, so we run all their stop losses, and then we immediately turn it around. And then we continue. So we trap people up and down before we make a real move. Actually, this measured move might give us a better idea where we're going. So down here. So right into this order block. And that gives us 5-1 if we can get it in right. We'll do like let's do a real quick leverage trading course here, and then we'll call it. Let me zoom this into, I gotta look at my frames here quick, unfortunately. Give me a second. All right. So I trade, it depends on the play. Sometimes it's 1% account risk. Sometimes it's 2% account risk. But let's just say you have a $100,000 account. Well, let's do it something smaller. What's the average account size out there? I don't even know. TA is not luck, brother. I promise you. Let's just say it is a $5,000 dollar account. Let's just say the Bitcoin is currently sitting at 91,433. And you're going to have a stop loss above that at 91,923. And you have a TP of 90K, right? I typically trade crypto at 25x, but the leverage does not matter. Institutions readjust based on weekly structure, right? So if it's coming up into a weekly level, you can expect billion-dollar hedge funds to trim, right? They're always long and short in each direction. So if you're coming up into a weekly high, you can expect money to redistribute the other way. 90% of the time, right? It's a 90% hit rate as long as you're patient with the play. But let's just say you are a $5,000 account, you risk 1%. So you risk $50 on the play, irregardless of the leverage. So you can see here, this $50 risk does not change at all, right? If it stomps us out at 91,923, you always lose $50, right? So that's step one to getting into... I'm like blocking this a little bit. Let me see if I can scoot this up just a little. There we go. All right. So even if you're at 25x, the difference is how much money you need to put into the short. So you would need $373 to get to a nominal Bitcoin size of 0.1, right? So if you're using 10x leverage, you would need quite a bit more money to get to that nominal size of 0.1. You need $848. If you're 50x leverage, you only need $186 instead of $330 to get to that nominal size of Bitcoin of 0.1. Right? So here's where things really matter. Let's just pretend you're at 25x. You use your $330 to get into position. Your estimated P&L here is $146. Now let's pretend, for just comparison's sakes, the actual SFP of the weekly high or that daily high was closer to that 91,230, or it was 91,230. Let's just say instead of your entry being $91,433, let's just say your entry was 91,750 and you caught the SFP on the 5-minute chart. Right? So instead now your risk hasn't changed at all. Your stop loss hasn't changed at all. Your entry just got significantly better. It got better by $250. So now you can actually have a larger position size, right? Because your stop loss is smaller. Your nominal Bitcoin size is almost 0.3 instead of 0.1. Your stop loss is still $50. You still lose $50 if the trade goes against you. But because you got a better entry into that weekly level, you're now able to pack in a 0.3 notional Bitcoin size. And you're using $1,060 at 25x leverage to get there, right? And it's that same exit level of 90K. This is not a real short, guys. I'm just making these numbers up. You now make, instead of $143, you make $505. Now, let's just say you are the SFP master, right? Where did we get our entry today? Let me just... So we got our Bitcoin entry today at... $202, I think, was our entry, right? This is actually a little lower. So $202. So that gave us about a $150 stop loss. So if the stop loss is here, let's get to $150 of that. So it would be about $875. That seemed about right. It's $2 off. So now instead of an $1,100 margin and a 3.3, you're now about 3.4 nominal Bitcoin. Instead of $500 in profit, you're at 600. Can you see that? Going the wrong way. Here's the profit. That's what's been changing for us. Like, just slide it that way. So the closer your stop loss, the more margin you can cram in it without losing your risk capital. And if you don't have $1,200, right, this is where the trading plan comes in. So if it gets invalidated quickly, you just immediately get stopped out. But if you're using 10x leverage, you're using 2.5 times that. You need $3,100. But that's like kind of a crash course, man. Just cramming leverage. It needs on-the-fly calculations. Would you say 80% of your wins are 3-1? Yep. You know what, brother? If you're still there, here, like in my trading journal, I have all this data, and currently this trading is free on our website if you're signed up. But it tracks everything, right? So there was I think this is the number, a 67% chance that if I tried to grab more than 3-1, that it just came back and stopped me out for less. So take what you're happy with, unless there's a higher target to be had, right? Not every day is an 8-1 play like what we did today. I mean, you can see institutional candles, man. It's not that tough reading candles. I mean, if it's something that seems like a foreign concept to you, I get it. It all starts that way. I mean, we just looked at the WIF chart, right? And what did we do on the WIF chart? We SFP'd the weekly high. What did we do on the Bitcoin chart? We just SFP'd the weekly high. So it gets a little... Like, where is liquidity sitting? Where are their stop losses sitting if to be engineered out of the market? Right here at this high. Came right up to it, rejected into a hammer candle. Or excuse me, a doji candle. We got all these drawings now. Gotta delete some of these. Brush, brush, brush. Yeah, most of my 3-to-1, man. Why be greedy? Just write them down on paper. Even if you don't like using, I mean, I think everybody, if you want to be a successful trader, I think you need a journal and track everything. Like, I know how long I should wait till open based on statistics, wins and losses, or how long I should wait until I even take a play. You know, I know my best trading day of the week. I know my worst trading day of the week. I know my best sessions to trade. I know my best SFPs on the weekly chart are my best plays. Second best are SFPs on the daily chart. Next best plays are 4-hour highs into structure shifts. Like, we know all this data just by recording it. And that's what you need to do. What's up, At? Unfortunately, we are not looking healthy here again. Gonna break this low. We just close up the rest of this. I actually know the song on the free list. All right, guys, we've been going for an hour and a half. Eddie's going to be live tonight. So if you like that Asian session goodness, expect him live around Asia, both TikTok and YouTube. Again, if you want to join us, hop over in Discord, Tactical Edge Traders, discord.gg/Tactical Edge Traders. Links are in the description. Check out the website. Hop in, man. Come trade with us live if you got some season behind you. New York session every single day. And I'm going to end it there, guys. I'm out of here.